Welcome back to another episode of the Kings related podcast. And this recap of the Kings 124-119 victory on this Sunday afternoon in Chicago over the Chicago Bulls. And it's the Kings' seventh straight win. It's the first time they won 7 straight since November of 2022. After the Kings beat the Celtics on Friday, the Kings made it 2 straight to open this road trip. And again, 7 in a row now. And they, I would say the defense was not great. For majority of this game, the Bulls were getting whatever they wanted. In that first half, getting into the painted area. Alonzo Ball was incredible in this game. Zach LaVine, incredible as well. De'Aaron Fox returned to action for the Kings after missing the last 3 games, I believe. Yeah, 3 straight after taking that hard fall in that game against Memphis back at home. And De'Aaron Fox was really good, especially in that fourth quarter when you needed your best player, Domantas Sabonis, after grabbing 28 rebounds in that game against Boston. In that win, he backed it up. Another double-double, 22 points, 8 assists, 16 rebounds in this game for Sabonis. I don't look now, but Keegan Murray, he looks like a new man. He came into today's game averaging 14.7 points, 6.3 rebounds, 54% roughly from the 3 in his last 3 games, and he backed it up today. 14 points, 3 of 8 from deep, 5 rebounds. Just tremendous win on the road to win these first 2 games on this road trip. Just phenomenal. Again, they haven't won 7 in a row since November 2022. And Coach Christie, since becoming the interim head coach, he's got these guys cooking. Just think about this. December 28th, the Kings were 13-19. Today, what is today? The 12th. January 12th. The Kings are a game over 500 at 20-19. They're in the 9th spot in the Western Conference. And, it's an incredible turnaround from the lowest of lows, to where this team is now since the coaching change. And absolutely incredible. And here's a stat I want to point out. This comes to you from Will Z Stats. With 33 assists today, the Kings are now 8-3 when they have 30 plus assists this season. They have hit that mark in 5 of the 8 games under interim head coach Doug Christie. That's averaging 29.9. Sharing is caring. The Kings are doing an excellent job, I think, moving the ball, passing. Sharing is caring. And if you look at the box score here, both teams shot over 40% from the field. Sacramento, after after they shot the ball better in that game against Boston, not a great shooting night from the three afternoon, 33% from three. Chicago 48. But I thought as the game went on, I thought the Kings got better um, from the three. But again, Zach LaVine, incredible um, performance. 6 straight game by Zach LaVine scoring 30 plus. He's an incredible player. Shout out Alonzo Ball, 5 of 8 from three. Just good to see Lonzo Ball back on the floor. He got the start today this afternoon because Kobe White did not play, and as a Kings fan, Kobe White he's had some big games here against the Kings lately. Lonzo 15 points in his 25 minutes of action. But that was pretty much. And then you got Vucevic, 18 points for the Bulls. But Keon Ellis in his 19 minutes of action, only 8 points. But I thought defensively, late in that game, the Kings won this game because of the defense down the stretch and costly mistakes by the Chicago Bulls. You had a 5-second violation by the Bulls where they could not inbound the ball. And then you had Vucevic, who lost the ball off himself to turn the ball over to give it back to the Kings. But I thought Keon Ellis, guarding Zach LaVine, really solid job. Because you saw the Kings, at times you saw Keon Ellis guarding LaVine. You saw Keegan Murray guarding him. I think I saw a time. I think we saw De'Aaron Fox on Zach LaVine at times. But I thought Keon Ellis did a really good job on Zach LaVine in this game. And you saw Ellis down the stretch on the defensive end. So just a really solid win by this Kings team. Yeah, 81% free throw line for the Kings. Out rebounded Chicago at 53-45, and I thought one of the main contributors, Trey Lyles, off the bench, 8 rebounds for Trey. It was Trey Day in Chicago for sure. Not a great shooting night, but what he did on the glass, incredible job off the bench. And Kevin as well, 7 points off the bench, 4 assists for Kevin off the bench. Devin Carter, after his kind of breakout game in Boston, 10 minutes of action. But you saw Keon Ellis getting those minutes late in the game for defensive purposes. So that's that. Steals, not a great. The one thing about this winning streak, the Kings have done a really good job of turning their opponents over. Just 7 turnovers by the Bulls. I don't think the Kings did enough in this game to force Chicago to turn the ball over. If you look at the Kings also did a good job taking care of the ball. Just 8 turnovers by Sacramento in this game, so that's really good by the Kings. But 7 wins in a row for the Kings. Incredible job. Kings in the restricted area. Also, I want to point this out. Kings in the restricted area today, 26 of 37. That's 70%. The Chicago Bulls, 16 of 31, 51%. So even though the Bulls kept knocking down threes, and this season, their they've shot a lot of threes this season, and even though the Bulls were making the threes, the Kings kept attacking all game long, and you love to see that. So, Domantas Sabonis, as I mentioned, another strong game for Sabonis. Despite another double double, 5 or 6 from the free throw line, really good to see from your big man there in this game. So you just look at this 7-game winning streak, and I don't listen to national media because they don't. Because national media, they don't watch the games, and they've shown that. But you beaten the Dallas Mavericks. But yeah, they didn't have Luka, they didn't have Kyrie. But the Dallas Mavericks are a playoff team. You beat the Philadelphia 76ers. And I understand they didn't have Embiid. But the Sixers, they're a playoff team. You beat the Memphis Grizzlies. The Grizzlies are the third best team in the West. They are a playoff team. Golden State. Golden State's not good. Okay? And you kicked their ass. You beat the Miami Heat in double overtime on its second night of a back-to-back. The Miami Heat, they're a playoff team. You beat the defending champions, the Boston Celtics, who had everyone. And you beat them. And you beat them at their own game, where they get up a lot of threes. You outshot them from three. The Chicago Bulls, I think the Chicago Bulls are in that middle area. They're in the Eastern Conference. You beat the Bulls. Kings are now 2-0 on this road trip. They finished this trip Tuesday in Milwaukee. Let's get greedy. Can the Kings go into Milwaukee with Giannis, with Damian Lillard, and beat the Bucks to come back home 3-0? Why not? Kings are playing some incredibly fun and exciting basketball right now. Why not get greedy? So it is a daylight beam. The beam is shining bright down on Sacramento as they beat the Chicago Bulls 124-119 to approve to one game over 500 at 20-19. So I also want to say this. The way they won this game. It is the most impressive thing to do this on a afternoon game. Because that game, so it was 12:30 tip here on the West Coast, 2:30 in Chicago. Just incredible job by Doug Christie and this coaching staff to get this win. So 7 wins in a row, a game over 500. You finish the trip Tuesday in Milwaukee against a Bucks team that have been playing a lot better here as of late. So we'll see what they do. Speaking of the Bucks, they lost today in New York against the Knicks. Just look at Giannis, 24 points in that game, 13 rebounds. He's going to be a handful on Tuesday for this Kings team. Damian Lillard, if you remember last year, had, I believe it was that game-winning shot last year against the Kings in Milwaukee. So he had 22 points in the game in this loss against the Knicks today. So other than that, you had Chris Middleton, who's now coming off the bench for the Bucks. He had 16. And nobody else for Milwaukee was in double figures. As they lose to the Knicks 140-106. So And then you had, like, Jalen Brunson went off for the Knicks. He had 44 points in that win over Milwaukee. So, good win for the Kings. You're back over 500 since November, I believe, when the last time you were over 500. So, good win. You have the Nuggets also beating the Dallas Mavericks. And if you just look at the Western Conference right now, with the Kings winning this game, you're a half game. The Kings are ninth in the West. You're a half game behind the Timberwolves, who are at eighth. Then you got the Clippers in seventh at 20 and 17. You got the Lakers at 20 and 16. And you got the Mavs, they're in fifth at 22 and 17. Like, the Kings are back. They dug themselves a hole, and they dug themselves out. But they got to continue to play like they have. And it's exciting to watch because the Kings are fun again. So, thanks for tuning in to this recap of the Kings' seventh straight win against the Chicago Bulls, 124-119. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up, leave a comment down below. Follow on Twitch as well. And if you're listening on your preferred audio platform, Apple, Spotify, whatever, hit that follow button. Leave a nice little review as well. Also, rate 5 stars. And we'll catch you Tuesday following Kings Bucks for another recap of the Kings game against Milwaukee. And go Kings and light the beam. It's daylight, but hey, still light the beam.